It's the summer after seventh grade, and Ruby Chu is feeling more lost than ever. Her best friends aren't speaking to her. She ended the year in detention. Her sister's about to leave for college. Ruby's still grieving her grandfather, Yi Yi, when it seems like no one else is. And without Yi Yi and his annual scavenger hunts across San Francisco, their hometown doesn't really feel like home anymore. Things get worse when Ruby's forced to spend the summer with her distant grandmother, Nai, in Chinatown. Then the looming shutdown of a beloved former scavenger hunt stop, May's Bakery, and a secret about Nai threaten to change everything. Even though Ruby feels out of place, maybe the summer of forming unexpected friendships and fighting to save the bakery will help Ruby reconnect with the world and discover what it means to find home again. My preview today is Ruby Lost and Found by Christina Lee. Yi Yi and I had this rule. If you passed by a Chinese bakery on the way home, you had to make a stop. This was extra true if it was May's Bakery. By this time last year, my grandfather and I knew by heart exactly which routes would lead to this off chance, totally by coincidence, of course, encounter with May's Bakery on our walks back to his and my grandmother's apartment, right near San Francisco's Chinatown. Yi Yi knew everything. Hilltops to catch the sunset, parks where we'd spot old men doing Tai Chi on Saturday mornings, or stands where he could pick up surprise flowers for Nai. When we did come across May's, we'd do the exact same thing. We'd stop and exchange a look. Yi would raise an eyebrow. Egg tarts or coconut bread? And every time I said, both. Dad, for some reason, didn't know to do this, even though Yi was his dad. Maybe the May's Bakery rule skipped a generation. This time, on our way across the city to Yi and Nai's apartment, we passed by the storefront with its bright red banner and yellow letters, and Dad didn't stop. He didn't even look back at me. It was probably because we were driving instead of walking, and Dad had to focus on traffic instead. Dad cranked the NPR station up, the louder the cars honked around us. I let down the window a little bit. The honks always made me anxious, but the breeze felt nice. A biker whizzed past, so close I could feel his jacket flap in my face. Dad started tapping his fingers on the steering wheel, a sign that he was getting impatient. The light turned green, and we eased up and over the hill. Mom turned around from the front seat to face me. She wore a suit jacket instead of her usual workout gear. She and Dad must have an important meeting today. You got everything? I nodded. My phone was tucked into my pocket. My fingers gripped it tightly as if I were expecting a text any second, even though basically that never happened these days. My friend Naomi hadn't texted me in months, and my other friend, Maya, and I didn't talk as much as we used to. I ran through a mental checklist to make sure I wasn't missing anything. My clothes were packed in the duffel. I had my phone charger. My watercolor set was tucked somewhere deep in there in a big plastic bag, even though I wasn't quite sure why I brought it. I even had remembered to pack socks. The last time my family went on vacation to Yosemite, I'd forgotten to pack socks, and I'd spent the next 2 days turning them inside out and back again to wear before Mom finally was able to spot fancy hiking socks in the gift shop. But it wasn't going to be the end of the world if I'd forgotten my socks now. Home was just a drive away. Nina is excited to have you come, Mom said. She even made you breakfast. I mumbled, I already ate breakfast, if half a Pop-Tart counted as breakfast, which it did, for the record. Mom sighed hard through her nose. It was her sign that she was getting impatient. The NPR radio host went on about how birds communicated with each other when they were migrating. This will be good for you, she said. I didn't answer. She glanced out the window. Take this shortcut, she told Dad. I knew the shortcut wasn't going to be much faster, but at least fewer cars honked at us here. I'd actually gone up one of these streets years ago with Yi Yi when we were looking for the tiger mural. I craned my neck to search for it again, but the stoplight changed and the car jolted forward. I settled back and leaned my head against the window. If I came back to look for it again, I would have to do it by myself. Yi Yi was gone. We pitched up another hill and then turned on to Bush Street, and soon the shops of Chinatown came into view. Mom's tongue clicked. That dumpling place just went out of business. She pointed at a sign. I have to find a new place now. She poked her head out the window and glanced down the road.